Archangel Michael says, I must reveal this without delay. The space you believe to be secure, the place where you have spoken freely, is not as private as you think. Hidden in plain sight, there is a presence that is quietly capturing every word you speak. This is not a random act, nor is it an accident. The person behind this is not simply curious, they have a purpose, one that is directly tied to your future and reputation. They have positioned themselves in such a way that your personal details, your private plans, and even your passing thoughts are no longer yours alone. The danger is subtle, which is why it has gone unnoticed until now. Their methods are precise, leaving no visible trace that would draw suspicion. Each conversation you have, every word you think is safe to speak within those walls, is being siphoned away to be used later. You may have felt an odd sense of unease lately, as though your ideas are being anticipated before you act. This is not paranoia. It is the result of someone knowing more than they should. They have heard things they were never meant to hear, and they are preparing to use this knowledge against you. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, their motive is not innocent. There is a calculated intent here, and you are at the center of it. Whether it is to undermine you, to claim your achievements, or to create a false narrative, they have already started weaving their plan. Pay close attention to the reactions of those around you. The shift in someone's tone when you speak, the way they seem to know your next move, these are not coincidences. They are signs that your private world is leaking into the wrong ears. This listener is skilled in remaining unseen. They blend into the environment, becoming just another shadow in the background. Yet their focus is sharp, and their patience is long. They are not rushing. They are waiting for the exact moment when your own words can be turned into a weapon against you. You may think you have control over your own story, but their recordings and observations are creating a different version, one you have no say in. This shadow version of events can be twisted, altered, and presented to others in a way that changes how you are perceived. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Archangel Michael says, this is not the time for fear, but for action. Every careless conversation from this moment on could become evidence in their hands. Every unguarded remark could be taken out of context and made to work against you. You must begin to observe in silence before speaking. Look for the subtle presence that lingers too long near your desk, the one who always seems to pass by at the right moment. Notice the strange familiarity some people have with details you've shared with no one but yourself. They may not confront you directly, they rarely do. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt in the minds of others, making it seem like their information comes from multiple sources, when in truth it comes from their own hidden surveillance of your words. Right now, they believe they are safe from discovery. They believe you are unaware of their presence. But that assumption will be their undoing, for the moment you recognize them is the moment their plan begins to crumble. Type Amen to get blessing 999. From here, your steps must be deliberate. Protect the flow of your words like you would guard a precious secret. Speak less in places where you feel the air is heavy with unspoken eyes and ears. Begin to test those around you. Share a small, harmless detail with only one person, then see if it comes back to you through another mouth. If it does, you will know who has been leaking your words. There is also a deeper reason why this is happening now. You are on the edge of a breakthrough. Something valuable is within your reach, and that is why you have become a target. Your progress has been noticed, and the listener is hoping to get ahead of you by knowing your moves in advance. Do not let them. Adjust your patterns, shift your timing, and disrupt the rhythm they have been relying on. The more unpredictable you become, the harder it will be for them to use your own voice against you. The walls you trust are not loyal to you. They have become silent witnesses to conversations that were never meant to travel beyond your lips. The air itself feels heavier now, not because of your imagination, but because it carries the weight of ears that do not belong in your world. There is an unnatural awareness around you. The way certain colleagues look at you lately carries a strange mix of curiosity and quiet knowing. They are no longer responding to you in real time, they are responding to things they heard long before you even realized you spoke them. Some of your private plans, once kept under lock and key, are beginning to appear in other people's actions. You've seen it, a project you thought of suddenly being discussed by someone else, or a personal detail you mentioned in passing showing up in unrelated conversations. These are not accidents. Someone is collecting your words like precious currency. And in their mind, they are already deciding when and where to spend them. They are not thinking about your safety, they are thinking about their advantage. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, they are careful because they know the danger of being caught. That is why they have hidden their tools well. A device in a pen, a microphone in a coffee mug, or a phone left on record mode, these are not impossible. You've felt the strange timing of interruptions lately, haven't you? How someone suddenly walks in when you're speaking about sensitive matters. Or how they always seem to guess what you were about to do next. That is no guesswork, it's the result of stolen information. Their plan is built on your trust. They need you to remain unaware, because the moment you start to guard your words, their power collapses. They rely on you feeling comfortable, lowering your guard, speaking freely without realizing the trap. But that comfort is false. The reality is harsher, you are being studied like a map, and every landmark in your mind is being marked for future use. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Now the air has shifted. You are not the same as you were yesterday. Awareness has entered you, and awareness is the first crack in their control. From now on, your voice must become unpredictable. Speak only when necessary, and let your silence become the barrier they cannot break. Begin to shift your meetings, change your routes, alter your patterns, anything to make their surveillance work against them. You will soon see who stumbles. The listener will start making mistakes when your rhythm changes. They will anticipate a move that never happens, speak about something you never actually said, or act on information that is suddenly outdated. That is when their mask will slip. And when it does, you will have the upper hand. Their confidence will turn to doubt. Their control will turn to panic. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, there will be a moment when the truth becomes undeniable. A moment when something you whispered in private will return to you through the lips of someone you never spoke to. This is the moment you will know, without question, who has been listening. Do not confront them immediately. That is what they expect. Instead, let them believe you are still in the dark. Feed them only what you want them to hear, small pieces of misinformation designed to lead them into their own trap. Watch as they act on false details, exposing themselves in front of others. Watch as their credibility shatters when people realize they were wrong. In that instant, the power they built from your words will collapse. And as they fall, your silence will become the loudest thing in the room. The days ahead will feel different. The familiar rhythm of your workplace will seem off, as though something beneath the surface has shifted. Every passing glance, every sudden pause in conversation, will feel heavier than before, because now you know there's a hidden layer to it all. The listener believes they still have the advantage. They believe you are walking through each day unaware, continuing to speak freely, feeding them without realizing it. That false confidence is what will make them vulnerable. From this point, your every move will be intentional. You will choose your words like pieces in a strategic game, making sure each one either protects you or leads them further into their own undoing. Every sentence you release will serve a purpose. The quiet tension between you and them will grow, even if no one else notices. They will sense that something in you has changed, but they won't be able to pinpoint exactly what it is. That uncertainty will make them restless. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, your strength now lies in your silence and your ability to observe without reacting. The less you reveal, the more they will search for what they can't find. In the coming days, you may notice small mistakes from them. They might slip up and reveal knowledge they should not have. Or they might suddenly start avoiding certain topics because they fear giving themselves away. These are the cracks you must watch for. It is also possible they will try to provoke you, attempting to make you speak out of emotion. They may drop hints, make subtle comments, or even spread half-truths just to see how you react. This is their way of testing if they still have control. You must not give them that satisfaction. Your calm, measured responses will unsettle them far more than anger ever could. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The trap you are setting doesn't need to be loud or obvious. It works best when it looks like normal life. You will allow them to overhear certain details that are deliberately designed to be harmless to you but dangerous to them. Perhaps you'll mention a false plan or an invented meeting. Perhaps you'll drop a piece of information that sounds important but leads nowhere. Watch closely to see who reacts, and you will have your answer. When they act on the bait, it will become clear to anyone paying attention that their source is not legitimate. They will lose credibility without you ever having to accuse them outright. This is the power of turning their own methods against them. Soon, whispers about them will replace the whispers they once spread about you. The very workplace they thought they controlled will become the place where their influence begins to crumble. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, this is more than just about your privacy, this is about reclaiming your authority. Once their hold over your words is broken, you will be free to speak on your own terms again. The day will come when their presence no longer lingers in the air around you. When you speak, it will not be for their ears, but for the people you choose. When you plan, it will be without the shadow of being watched. They will be left with nothing but their own fear of being discovered. And the silence they once used as a weapon against you will turn into the silence of their own downfall. When that moment arrives, you will walk through your workplace with a new kind of confidence, not because you are unaware of danger, but because you faced it, dismantled it, and emerged stronger. You will notice the shift before anyone else does. A strange tension will fill the air between you and the one who has been listening. They will avoid meeting your eyes for too long, or they will look at you with a forced smile that hides their unease. The more unpredictable you become, the more agitated they will feel. Their plan relies on knowing you completely, on predicting your moves before you make them. But once you start changing the pattern, their grip on you begins to slip. At first, they will try harder. You may find them hovering around conversations they have no reason to be part of. You may see them standing a little too close, pretending to be busy while straining to catch every word you speak. This is how desperation looks when a spy senses the ground shifting beneath them. Soon, their eagerness will betray them. They will speak about a detail that only you and a single trusted person know. Or they will mention something from a private conversation you had, unaware that you planted it as bait. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, when this moment comes, you will feel a spark of power return to you. You will know you are no longer the hunted, you are now the one leading them where you want them to go. Do not confront them yet. Let them dig their own hole deeper. The more they act on false information, the more obvious their role becomes to others. You will see the doubt grow in their colleagues. People will start to notice that the listener is strangely informed about matters they should have no access to. Conversations will shift behind their back, just as they once shifted behind yours. It will be a slow but certain unraveling, and every step they take will only tighten the rope they have wrapped around themselves. Type Amen to get blessing 777. They may try one final move before their fall. This will be the most dangerous moment. When they feel cornered, they will attempt to twist the narrative, painting themselves as the victim and you as the threat. Be ready for this. Keep your responses calm and measured. Avoid giving them anything they can use against you. Let their own contradictions and half-truths expose them. And when they slip, and they will, others will see the cracks they have tried so hard to hide. The person who once controlled the flow of information will suddenly be standing in the middle of a storm of their own making. At that point, your silence will no longer be necessary. You will speak, and your voice will carry the weight of truth. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, the end will not be loud, but it will be final. They will find themselves isolated, their once strong network of influence dissolved. The people who once listened to them will now keep their distance. You will no longer feel the weight of unseen ears pressing against your every word. Instead, you will move with a freedom they tried to take from you. And perhaps the greatest victory of all will be that you didn't just protect yourself. You turned their own tactics into the very thing that destroyed them. When this chapter closes, you will walk into your workplace knowing that you are untouchable, not because there is no danger in the world, but because you know how to face it, dismantle it, and rise above it. Their downfall will not come with a warning. One day, without any announcement, the moment you've been preparing for will arrive. The chain of false information you've planted will finally pull tight, and the listener will step right into the trap you set. It will happen during an ordinary conversation, one you designed carefully. You will mention something harmless but intriguing, knowing it will be impossible for them to resist passing it along. And they will. They will carry it to the wrong ears, confident it will work to their advantage. But when the lie reaches the end of the chain, it will collapse under its own weight. The people who hear it will realize the story cannot be true. They will know exactly where it came from. And just like that, the person who thrived in the shadows will be pulled into the open. Their mask will crack. They will scramble to explain themselves, offering excuses that sound rehearsed and hollow. But it will be too late, the trust they relied on will have already vanished. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, in that moment, the energy of the entire room will shift. The balance of power will tilt back to you, and they will feel it in every uneasy glance, every whispered conversation that no longer includes them. You will not need to raise your voice. The truth will speak for itself through the pattern of events you've allowed to unfold. The more they deny, the more tangled they will become in their own words. Their allies will begin to distance themselves, not out of loyalty to you, but because they can sense the sinking ship beneath their feet. The listener will look around for support and find only empty space. This is when you will see fear in their eyes, not fear of you, but fear of what happens when the shadows they've hidden in are stripped away. Type Amen to get blessing 777. They may still attempt one last move, desperate to salvage their image. They might accuse others, try to redirect suspicion, or paint themselves as misunderstood. But their words will fall flat, because the people they once deceived will now be paying closer attention than ever before. You will stand firm, letting their panic work against them. Every accusation they throw will only make their intentions clearer. Every desperate gesture will only confirm what others have begun to suspect. The very tool they used against you, information, will now work in your favor. Those who once questioned you will start to see the truth for themselves, without you having to prove it. And when the tide finally turns completely, they will be left with nothing but the echo of the power they once held. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, the silence that follows will be the sweetest victory. No more eyes watching your every move from the shadows. No more words stolen and twisted. The air around you will feel lighter, and the space you work in will once again belong to you. You will move freely, your thoughts your own, your conversations protected. The listener will fade into the background, unable to rebuild the trust they shattered. Their exit will not be dramatic. They will simply disappear, slipping out of the circle they once tried to control. And as they go, you will know that you faced a hidden enemy and won without losing your composure, your dignity, or your control. From that day forward, you will carry the awareness with you, not as a burden, but as a shield. And no one will ever again be able to take your words and use them as a weapon against you. In the days after their exposure, the workplace will take on an entirely different atmosphere. Conversations that once felt tense will begin to feel open again, and the subtle paranoia that had been growing inside you will start to fade. The tension in your shoulders will loosen, and the heaviness in the air will be gone. The listener will try to maintain their presence, but it will be clear to everyone that their influence is gone. They will no longer be invited into private discussions, and people will grow cautious around them, not to protect themselves, but to avoid being associated with them. Every person they once whispered to will now speak more freely in your presence. Small nods of respect will replace the guarded stares you used to receive. The unspoken message will be clear: you have reclaimed your space, and you did it without lowering yourself to their level. Their isolation will deepen with every passing day. What was once their greatest strength, knowing everything before everyone else, will become their greatest weakness. Without access to your words, they will be left guessing, and their guesses will lead them further into irrelevance. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, the victory you've achieved is not just about silencing one person, it's about setting a boundary that will remain unshaken. You have proof. You will begin to notice new opportunities emerging. People who once doubted you will now see you as someone who cannot be easily manipulated. They will trust you more, seek your input, and respect your privacy. The listener's fall will act as a silent warning to others who might have considered the same path. Without you having to say a word, they will understand that the cost of betraying your trust is too high. In their absence, your ideas will flourish. Your voice will no longer be twisted into something it's not. And the work you do will finally be recognized for its true value. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The final act of their disappearance will be almost anticlimactic. One morning, you'll arrive to find their desk cleared, their presence gone without announcement. Some will ask questions, but most will simply move on, unwilling to stir a story that everyone already knows in their own way. The quiet that follows will feel strange at first. A silence that is no longer heavy, but peaceful. You will realize just how much space they had taken up in your mind, and how freeing it is to have that space back. Your movements will no longer be calculated to avoid their listening. You will speak openly, laugh freely, and share without fear. The shadow that once followed you has been erased, replaced by the light of your own authority. And as you move forward, the lesson will remain: never again will you mistake silence for safety without first knowing who occupies it. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, your resilience in this trial has carved out a strength within you that will serve you for years to come. You have not only removed a threat, you have reshaped the space around you into something safer, something more aligned with your purpose. Those who watched you navigate this challenge will remember your composure. They will remember that you did not need to shout or fight to win. You simply stood in your truth and let the deceit reveal itself. The listener's name will fade into the background, while yours will rise in quiet respect. And with each step you take now, you carry the knowledge that you faced the unseen and emerged not just unharmed, but stronger. This chapter is closed. The story has been rewritten, not by their whispers, but by your actions. And the workplace that once felt unsafe now belongs entirely to you. In the weeks that follow, the transformation will be undeniable. Where there was once a quiet war being waged in whispers, there is now an atmosphere of calm. The corridors feel open, the air lighter. You no longer glance over your shoulder when speaking, because the shadow that used to linger there has dissolved into nothingness. Colleagues who once seemed distant begin to gravitate toward you again. Their conversations are warmer, their tone more genuine. You notice they now share ideas with you openly, not out of obligation, but because the barrier of suspicion has been broken. The listener's absence becomes a silent but powerful reminder of what happens when trust is betrayed. People may not speak their name aloud anymore, but the memory of their actions remains in the back of everyone's mind. It keeps the boundaries clear. It keeps the respect alive. And in this new space, your work begins to shine more than ever before. Without the interference of distorted rumors or stolen plans, your true abilities rise to the surface. Opportunities begin to present themselves that once seemed locked away. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, this is the season of restoration for you. Every seed of effort you planted while enduring their watchful presence will now begin to grow without obstruction. Those who doubted you will start to see the reality for themselves. Not because you explained it, but because the truth has become impossible to hide. The trust that was once broken in pockets of your workplace is being rebuilt, and you are at the center of that change. The very people who kept their distance before will now approach you with confidence. They will seek your perspective, value your words, and respect your space. You have moved from being the target of someone's schemes to being the example of how integrity wins in the end. This shift will not only protect you from future threats, it will also inspire others to guard themselves with the same awareness and strength. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Your influence will begin to spread quietly, not through loud declarations, but through consistent, undeniable presence. People will notice the way you carry yourself, with certainty, with composure, with a calm that cannot be faked. Even those who were once aligned with the listener will begin to respect you from a distance. They may never admit it aloud, but they will think twice before ever crossing the line you have now drawn in silence. The workplace itself will slowly reshape around this new balance. Meetings will feel more productive, decisions will be made more transparently, and the subtle games that once thrived will lose their place. The most telling sign of victory will be how rarely you think of them anymore. What once consumed your thoughts has now faded into the background noise of the past. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, the true mark of your triumph is that you have not only survived this intrusion, you have turned it into a foundation for greater strength. You have learned to see what others miss, to hear the quiet warnings beneath the surface, and to act with precision instead of impulse. Your workplace is no longer the same place it was when this began, and neither are you. The lessons you carry forward will ensure that no one will ever be able to infiltrate your trust in the same way again. From this point on, your words will be spoken with the knowledge that they are powerful, and that their value is yours to protect. You will choose when to speak and when to remain silent, not out of fear, but out of mastery. And with each day that passes, you will feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing you faced an enemy who thought they could own your voice, and you took it back. This chapter closes with you standing in complete control, untouchable, and unshaken. Months pass, and the story of the listener becomes nothing more than a shadow in the background of your life. The workplace remains calm, your influence steady, and the respect you've earned only grows stronger. You have moved forward, no longer carrying the weight of what once was. Then, unexpectedly, you see them again. It is not inside the walls of your workplace, but somewhere neutral. A street, a cafe, a public space where the rules are different. They are alone, without the crowd they once relied on for power. For a moment, their eyes meet yours. You can see the flicker of recognition, but it's mixed with something else, hesitation. They no longer look at you with the same quiet arrogance. Instead, there is a trace of uncertainty, as if they are unsure how to stand in your presence now that their influence is gone. They offer a small nod, perhaps out of habit or an attempt to appear unaffected. But you can feel the shift in energy. They are no longer in control of the narrative. The space between you is charged, but not with the same tension as before. It is charged with the knowledge that the power they once held is now entirely yours. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, you do not need to speak to them. Your silence will say more than any words ever could. They will feel the weight of what they lost, and they will know you are not someone who can be touched by shadows again. You simply walk past, your step steady, your head high. In that brief exchange, the balance of power is made crystal clear. They are a figure from the past, a reminder of a battle you have already won. As you leave them behind, you feel a deep sense of closure. The cycle is complete, not because they apologized or explained, but because you no longer need either. You have taken back your voice, your privacy, and your authority, and nothing they do can change that. From this day forward, they will remember you not as the person they once tried to silence, but as the one they could never defeat. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The next morning, when you return to your workplace, it feels different again, not because of any external change, but because of the strength you now carry within you. You move through each task with clarity. Conversations flow easily, free from the weight of hidden agendas. Your presence commands respect without effort. People respond to you differently now, with an awareness that you see more than you say, and that you are not someone to underestimate. The listener's shadow no longer lingers anywhere in your mind. Instead, the space they once occupied has been filled with purpose and peace. And that is your final victory, not just that you survived what they tried to do, but that you turned it into the very thing that elevated you beyond their reach forever. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Archangel Michael says, the chapter is not only closed, it is sealed. The lesson is woven into you now, an unshakable part of your strength. The next time you feel the quiet weight of unseen eyes or ears, you will know exactly how to respond. You will never again underestimate the value of your own words, nor will you ever allow them to be stolen without a fight. You have become the keeper of your own truth, and no one can take that from you. Your workplace is safe again, not because there is no danger in the world, but because you are now the kind of person who cannot be touched by it. And that, above all, is the kind of protection no one can break.